What do you think are the appropriate consequences for a student who called you the B word? Let me know. I want to hear in the comment section. What do you think is the appropriate consequence? What do you want your administration to do if a student called you the B word? And that's sort of where we're getting at with this Reddit post with this teacher here. She says, student called me a B. He came in 10 minutes from lunch. I asked him why. He said he got lost. Yeah, right. Obviously lying. Teacher said, I'm writing you up. And he said, you're a B. Now that's definitely crossing the line with administration. There is a difference between, the student is cursing using profanity versus using profanity directly at a staff member. And that is offensive. That's in front of class. Absolutely not. We don't do that. But check this out. Here, haha, obviously I got offended, but here's why I'm posting. Obviously, write them up, but would you ask the student to be removed from the classroom, like security and or dean, and say, I want this student out of my classroom? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Immediately, that student needs to leave the classroom. That student has crossed a line, and I'm assuming that this was very, very public. Other students, they witnessed it, so that's going to be a nice and easy investigation for administration. But no, that student does not get to stay in that class after they have done that. That student needs to immediately report to the principal's office for a stern talking to, and once the investigation is done, consequences on that student's head immediately. Check this out. Teacher says, I thought of being the bigger person, so I just let him stay. I just know if I was in a bad mood, I would get mad for sure and do something like that. What would you do? Everyone, when a student crosses that line, they cannot stay in your classroom. You have to send that message, because I say all the time, you are the architect of your environment. If seemingly the student is able to, in that moment is very, very important. Once that student crosses that line and calls their teacher a B word, now everyone is looking at the teacher and their response. And there is a lot of perception. That is important. The perception, students they're making decisions, and their perception is changing, or it's confirmed about you based on what you do. If students they hear that, they look back and say, oh, you did it now, you're in big trouble. Ms. Johnson doesn't play that. Out of the classroom he goes, and that's a confirmation. Student knows, oh yeah, that's the Ms. Johnson that I know. She would kick you out of the class. You cross the line, buddy. Versus you let the student stay, then the student's like, oh, wow, I feel bad for Ms. Johnson. She let him disrespect her like that, and he gets to stay. Ooh, we can't have that. We just cannot have that. So to all of you out there, I know that you have a wonderful heart to do this work. You want to help. You want to help people. You want to educate kids, help them learn and grow. But there's just certain things we just cannot tolerate. We cannot have. And to allow a student to stay in your classroom after they have disrespected you like this to your face, that makes me angry. That makes me angry. So from the principal side, I'm looking at something serious for this student. I'm looking for I'm looking for at least 5 days. At least 5 days. Perhaps I'll do a mix between out and in, maybe 4 out, 1 in, maybe 3 out, 2 in, something along those lines. And I want an apology to that teacher, as long as the teacher is good with it, and they feel comfortable. I mean, that's something that has to be considered as well. But bottom line, if a student crosses a line like this, they have for in that moment they have forfeited their right to be in that classroom. They cannot disrespect their teacher like that, or anyone else. They are not allowed to do that. So they in that moment they must leave. They must leave to send that message to the student, to send that message to the rest of the class that now in this environment, that kind of behavior is not tolerated and consequences will be forthcoming. So I do hope that I don't know. I just wish this teacher well. I'm so sorry that happened. Split. I imagine this is a split lunch. Split lunch classes are just very, very challenging. I never liked teaching split lunch classes. I didn't like teaching during lunch, and I would do my best to try to get myself a schedule where I didn't have to teach during lunch. So yeah, just wish this teacher well. And again, I want to hear from you. What do you think? What are the consequences that you will want for such a student who would do something like that to you? And let me hear you. Do you agree with this teacher's decision to be the bigger person and allow the student to stay in the classroom after they've crossed that line? I want to hear from you. Let's get some discussion going. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.